Can you recall when the Predator emerged from the dense jungle and transformed battle-hardened commandos into hunted victims? That unforgettable scene stunned moviegoers and kept viewers in constant suspense. Yet, away from the cameras, the cast faced hardships that proved far harsher than anything shown on screen. Several met tragic ends, while others struggled through operations, bitter separations, and deeply painful personal challenges. Join us as we explore what really happened to them and pay tribute to the lasting impact they left behind. Carl Weathers is Dylan. Dylan entered Predator with a crushing handshake, a self-assured smile, and a fearless presence that immediately suggested he was the one person capable of standing up to Arnold Schwarzenegger without hesitation. Born on January 14, 1948 in New Orleans, Louisiana, Carl Weathers was 39 years old when Predator was filmed and soon established himself as one of the movie's standout action performers. His authoritative presence on screen and dynamic interactions with the ensemble helped turn Dylan into one of the franchise's most memorable figures. On February 2, 2024, Carl Weathers passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 76 after privately coping with severe coronary artery disease during his later years. Before his passing, he had successfully revived his career through celebrated productions such as The Mandalorian, a role that even brought him an Emmy nomination. Over a long career spanning film, television, directing, and voice work, his reported net worth grew to approximately $8 million. Even now, Schwarzenegger remains a global figure whose public appearances continue to attract widespread attention. However, behind the reputation for invincibility, Arnold has spent many years confronting serious personal difficulties and major health concerns. Kevin Peter Hall as the Predator and helicopter pilot. Beneath the frightening extraterrestrial suit stood Kevin Peter Hall, a gentle giant whose remarkable 7'2" stature and deliberate animal-like movements brought the Predator to life in both Predator and Predator 2. Born on May 9, 1955 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Kevin Peter Hall was 37 years old during the original film and 35 years old when the sequel was released. Through his extraordinary physical portrayal, he helped create one of cinema's most recognizable monsters and secured the role that would define his career. At only 35 years old, Kevin Peter Hall died on April 10, 1991, after developing AIDS-related pneumonia linked to HIV-contaminated blood received during an emergency transfusion following a major automobile accident. Reports suggest that much of his estimated $500,000 fortune was consumed by the enormous medical costs associated with his final illness. Many fans were devastated because the performer behind one of film's most feared creatures was widely admired as an exceptionally warm and humble individual in everyday life. The tragedy felt even heartbreaking because Hall had already spent years confronting isolation and rejection due to his extraordinary height. During his youth, he often endured ridicule, exclusion, and injuries while attempting to connect with peers through athletic activities. Although he found happiness after marrying actress Alina Reed Hall in 1988, their future together was cut short before they could fully enjoy their life as a couple. Ultimately, the actor beneath Hollywood's most dangerous alien became one of the entertainment industry's most heartbreaking real-life stories. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dutch. Throughout Predator, Dutch fought his way through the jungle covered in mud, wielding enormous weapons, leading his squad and delivering one of the defining action performances of the decade. Born on July 30, 1947 in Thal, Austria, Arnold Schwarzenegger was 40 years old when his climactic battle with the Predator helped elevate the film into a science fiction action landmark. As of 2026, Arnold Schwarzenegger is 79 years old and continues to stay active through documentaries, business interests, speaking engagements, and carefully selected acting roles. After decades as a champion bodybuilder, movie icon, and former governor of California, his estimated net worth has climbed to roughly $450 million. Even now, Schwarzenegger remains a global figure whose public appearances continue to attract widespread attention. However, behind the reputation for invincibility, Arnold has spent many years confronting serious personal difficulties and major health concerns.
His marriage to Maria Shriver unraveled following revelations that he had fathered a child with longtime housekeeper Mildred Baena, setting off a highly publicized divorce process that stretched across many years. Meanwhile, he also underwent multiple open-heart procedures related to a congenital valve condition, including additional surgeries in 2018 and 2020, followed by the implantation of a pacemaker in 2024. Ultimately, the actor, celebrated for portraying seemingly unstoppable heroes, spent much of his real-world journey demonstrating just how much suffering a person can endure before reaching their limits. Elpidia Carrillo as Ana. Throughout Predator, Ana navigated the story with frightened glances, urgent cautions, and a lingering sense that a dark force was already lurking somewhere within the dense wilderness. Born on August 16, 1960 in Michoacán, Mexico, Elpidia Carrillo was 26 years old when the original Predator was released and later returned at age 29 for a short role tied to the sequel. Her heartfelt portrayal brought genuine vulnerability and emotional depth, helping offset the movie's relentless action and violence. By 2026, Carrillo is 65 years old and continues to appear selectively in film and television while actively supporting advocacy efforts focused on indigenous and Latino communities. Her estimated net worth is thought to be approximately $5 million, earned through decades of work across Hollywood and international productions. Rather than becoming a conventional Hollywood icon, Carrillo steadily earned admiration through perseverance and unwavering strength. The resilience she displayed was forged during a deeply painful childhood shaped by tragedy and hardship. When her father was killed amid violent gang conflicts in Mexico, her family was shattered, eventually leading her to leave for the United States alone in pursuit of security and a better future. Even after establishing herself in Hollywood, she encountered persistent stereotypes and damaging accusations aimed at Latina actresses seeking professional success. Rather than allowing those challenges to defeat her, Carrillo devoted years to advocating for respect and fair representation while carrying wounds that never completely healed. In many ways, the survival instincts Ana displayed in Predator mirrored the endurance Carrillo had relied upon throughout her own life. Bill Paxton as Jerry Lambert. In Predator 2, Jerry Lambert charged through the chaos with anxious humor, visible panic, and an unpredictable energy that intensified the film's dangerous urban setting. Born on May 17, 1955 in Fort Worth, Texas, Bill Paxton was 35 years old during the production of Predator 2, and his rapid-fire delivery and emotionally engaging performances later established him as one of the most recognizable character actors of the 1990s. On February 25, 2017, Paxton passed away at age 61 after suffering a fatal stroke linked to complications from heart surgery performed to repair an aortic aneurysm. Following his death, his family filed a significant lawsuit against Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, claiming medical negligence played a role in the outcome. By the time of his passing, Paxton had accumulated an estimated net worth of around $40 million through a highly successful career spanning both television and film. The circumstances felt especially heartbreaking because he had finally entered one of the happiest and most stable periods of his personal life after overcoming earlier difficulties. His marriage to Kelly Rowan ended in less than a year, leaving him facing personal disappointment during the early stages of his career. However, after marrying Louise Newberry in 1987, he spent nearly 30 years creating a strong and lasting family foundation. According to friends, Paxton remained upbeat, energetic, and full of optimism until the procedure that unexpectedly cut his life short. Tragically, one of Hollywood's most beloved personalities became the focus of a devastating medical loss that stunned the entertainment industry. Sonny Landham as Billy. Although Sonny spoke very little in Predator, his piercing gaze, exceptional tracking skills, and eerie composure made him seem like the one warrior who truly grasped the nightmare hidden in the jungle. Born on February 11, 1941 in Canton, Georgia, Sonny Landham was 47 years old during the filming of Predator and immediately drew attention through his commanding presence and volatile nature. Despite having relatively few lines, his portrayal transformed Billy into one of the movie's most unforgettable and enigmatic figures. On August 17, 2017, Landon died at age 76 after battling congestive heart failure. Near the end of his life, ongoing health issues, unsuccessful political pursuits, and severe financial setbacks reportedly left his estimated net worth below $100,000. After a catastrophic multi-vehicle accident in 2006 eventually resulted in the amputation of both legs, his physical condition and overall well-being declined dramatically.
Yet, even before those hardships, Landon's life had long been marked by controversy, conflict, and personal turmoil. Faced with financial struggles early on, he entered pornography and nude modeling, decisions that later complicated his efforts to build a mainstream acting career. During the production of Predator, stories about his unpredictable temper became so widespread that producers reportedly hired security to shield fellow cast members from potential confrontations. As the years passed, legal disputes, harassment allegations involving his former wife, and public backlash over racist political comments further damaged what remained of his professional reputation. Ultimately, the performer who appeared unstoppable in movies spent large portions of his personal life navigating turmoil, frustration, and hardship behind the scenes. Danny Glover as Lieutenant Mike Harrigan. In Predator 2, Mike Harrigan charged headfirst into danger, confronting criminals, rushing into firefights, and standing his ground even as a deadly extraterrestrial hunter unleashed terror throughout Los Angeles. Born on July 22, 1946, in San Francisco, California, Danny Glover was 44 years old when his commanding presence and emotional depth helped establish Harrigan as one of the most admired figures in the franchise. As of 2026, Glover is 80 years old and continues participating in select acting roles, humanitarian efforts, and political advocacy. Over the course of a long and successful career in entertainment, his estimated net worth has reached approximately $40 million. Even in his later years, Glover remains a vocal advocate for issues involving racial equality, workers' rights, and social justice across the globe. Yet, away from the cameras, the resilience he displayed on screen often masked decades of deeply personal struggles. Beginning at age 15 and continuing into his mid-30s, he endured severe epileptic seizures that made education, communication, and self-confidence especially challenging. Adding to those difficulties, lifelong dyslexia created further obstacles throughout everyday experiences. In later years, the end of his 25-year marriage to Asake Bomani reportedly brought significant emotional and financial challenges, while his subsequent relationship with Eliane Cavaliero also faced periods of instability. Alongside arrests connected to public demonstrations and repeated encounters with racial profiling, Glover frequently faced real-world conflicts that mirrored the intensity of many of his screen roles. R.G. Armstrong as General Phillips. In Predator, General Phillips projected the stern authority of a career military officer, delivering orders with relentless intensity and treating every operation as a matter of absolute urgency. Born on April 7, 1917, in Birmingham, Alabama, R.G. Armstrong was already 70 years old when he appeared in Predator, bringing decades of experience from westerns and character-driven dramas to the role. His rugged features and commanding demeanor made him a natural choice for authoritative figures throughout a lengthy Hollywood career. R.G. Armstrong passed away on July 27, 2012, at the age of 95 from natural causes at his home in Studio City, California. As he entered the closing years of his life, declining health and personal loss gradually pulled him away from public attention. By the time of his passing, his estimated net worth stood at roughly $1.5 million, earned through steady work in film and television. Following the death of his wife, Mary Craven, in 2003, after nearly 3 decades together, Armstrong reportedly experienced profound loneliness. The grief from that loss is said to have led to a long period of depression during his final years. Long before that, he had wrestled with family pressures urging him to become a Baptist preacher rather than pursue acting, a source of emotional tension that remained with him throughout much of his life. Ultimately, the man celebrated for playing powerful and intimidating figures spent his last years quietly enduring sorrow and solitude away from public view. Calvin Lockhart as King Willie. In Predator 2, King Willie commanded attention with eerie confidence, cryptic spiritual insight, and the unsettling calm of someone who seemed fully aware that death was approaching. Born on October 18, 1934 in Nassau, Bahamas, Calvin Lockhart was 56 years old when he appeared in Predator 2, delivering one of the movie's most memorable performances despite limited screen time. His distinctive voice and commanding charisma transformed King Willie into one of the franchise's enduring cult favorites. Calvin Lockhart passed away on March 29, 2007, at the age of 72 in the Bahamas after suffering serious complications from a stroke. At the time of his death, his estimated net worth was approximately $1 million, reflecting a career spent advocating for fair opportunities and equal treatment within the entertainment industry.
Despite widespread respect for his abilities, Lockhart never achieved the level of recognition or financial reward that many believed his talent warranted. That sense of frustration extended into several areas of his personal life as the years went on. Raised in modest circumstances, he worked demanding jobs as a barber and carpenter to finance acting lessons after relocating to New York. As his career progressed, frequent disputes with studios over compensation, representation, and image rights affected his standing within Hollywood because he openly challenged industry practices toward black performers. In the end, the struggles he confronted in reality proved far more demanding than any conflict portrayed on film. Gary Busey as Peter Keyes. Peter Keyes moved through Predator 2 with relentless determination, unpredictable intensity, and the consuming belief that he could master a force far beyond human control. Hailing from Goose Creek, Texas, where he was born on June 29, 1944, Gary Busey was 46 years old when Predator 2 was filmed, and his volatile acting energy gave Keyes an intimidating edge well before the Predator entered the story. By 2026, Gary Busey has reached the age of 82 and lives a life far removed from the level of Hollywood fame he once commanded. Over the years, a combination of lawsuits, addiction struggles, health issues, and financial setbacks reportedly shrank his estimated net worth to roughly $500,000. More recently, his public behavior has drawn increasing controversy and unpredictability, leaving many longtime admirers stunned by the contrast with the gifted performer they once knew. Everything began to unravel after a devastating motorcycle crash in 1988 when Busey suffered severe brain trauma while riding without a helmet. According to friends and colleagues, the injuries altered his personality dramatically, leading to impulsive actions, heightened aggression, and emotional volatility that gradually damaged both his career and personal connections. Not long afterward, substance abuse became another major challenge, including a near-fatal cocaine overdose in 1995, while several marriages ended in bitter disputes and public controversy. Then, in 2022, Busey became the subject of new sexual misconduct allegations that further intensified the scrutiny surrounding his name. Ultimately, a performer once celebrated for extraordinary talent came to represent one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking cautionary tales. Taking on the role of Irene Edwards was Lillian Chauvin. In Predator 2, Irene Edwards carried herself with a commanding grace and firm authority, giving the impression of someone who had already endured more hardship than most people could imagine. Originally born in Paris, France on August 6, 1925, Lillian Chauvin was 65 years old during the production of Predator 2, and her powerful performances left a lasting impression across dramatic and horror projects alike. Throughout her career, she became especially respected for bringing depth and intensity to complex characters. On June 26, 2008, Chauvin passed away in Los Angeles following a difficult struggle with metastatic breast cancer and congestive heart failure. Despite serious health challenges in her later years, she remained dedicated to teaching and guiding younger performers whenever she could. Following decades of work in film, television, theater, and education, her estimated net worth stood at approximately $2 million when she died. Much of her lifelong emotional burden stemmed from childhood experiences during the Nazi occupation of France, where bombings and scenes of death reportedly remained vivid memories throughout her lifetime.
After immigrating to America in 1952 with very few resources, she spent years overcoming instability while learning English and working several jobs to support herself. Her marriage to Bernard Chauvin also ended not long after the move to the United States, deepening the loneliness she experienced during those difficult years. Looking back, Lillian Chauvin endured war, poverty, illness, and personal loss while quietly earning recognition as one of Hollywood's most resilient and overlooked talents. Stepping into the role of Blaine was Jesse Ventura. Throughout Predator, Blaine charged through the jungle carrying a massive minigun, chewing tobacco, and projecting the confidence of the toughest and loudest soldier in every scene. Born in Minneapolis, Minnesota on July 15, 1951, Jesse Ventura was 37 years old during Predator and immediately caught audiences' attention thanks to his imposing wrestler build and forceful personality. His memorable one-liners and life-than-larger swagger helped make Blaine one of the movie's most beloved supporting figures.
As of 2026, Ventura is 75 years old and continues to stay active through podcasts, political commentary, interviews, and occasional television work. He has also remained married to Terry Ventura since 1975, creating one of the rare enduring marriages associated with action movie celebrity. Away from the camera, however, Ventura spent years dealing with emotional wounds linked to his military service in Vietnam and the PTSD that followed him long after his return. Later, his lawsuit against the family of late sniper Chris Kyle over statements in American Sniper sparked intense criticism, even after he won the case and was awarded $1.8 million in damages. A large number of veterans and supporters viewed the lawsuit as an attack on a grieving family, making Ventura one of the most divisive personalities connected to both military and political circles. In the end, the man who seemed unstoppable in Predator spent much of his life confronting struggles that strength alone could never erase. Playing Ruth was Sylvia Cauters. In Predator 2, Ruth appeared as a frightened elderly woman whose brief scenes added a sense of humanity and vulnerability amid the film's relentless violence and chaos. Born on September 1, 1922 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sylvia Cauters was 69 years old during Predator 2, and her natural charm along with her authentic screen presence allowed her to leave a memorable impression in supporting roles throughout her remarkably late-blooming acting career. Passing away on May 5, 2016, Sylvia Cauters was 94 years old when a sudden heart attack claimed her life in New York City. By the final years of her career, her estimated fortune had reached approximately $1.2 million thanks to decades of consistent film and television work. Despite her calm public image, she spent much of her life wrestling with financial insecurity rooted in her childhood during the Great Depression. Long after achieving professional success, those early anxieties reportedly continued shaping her outlook on life. Following the death of her husband, Randall Cauters, after a lifelong marriage together, she chose a quiet existence focused almost entirely on her acting career. Ultimately, Sylvia Cauters stood as a reminder that even in Hollywood, long-forgotten ambitions can eventually receive the recognition they deserve. Portraying Mac, Bill Duke brought to Predator a character marked by haunted stares, nervous murmurs, and the unforgettable razor blade moment that revealed a man slowly unraveling in the jungle. Entering the world on February 26, 1943 in Poughkeepsie, New York, Duke was 47 years old when Predator showcased one of his most emotionally intense performances. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches tall, his imposing presence helped turn Mac into one of the film's most unforgettable figures. As of 2026, Bill Duke is 83 years old and remains active on a selective basis as an actor, filmmaker, educator, and mentor throughout the entertainment industry. Over the course of his lengthy career, he accumulated an estimated net worth of roughly $4 million through accomplishments both in front of and behind the camera. Throughout his later years, Duke has continued earning respect for opening doors to younger black filmmakers in Hollywood. Beneath that commanding screen persona, however, he quietly endured years of loneliness and criticism connected to his appearance. During the early stages of his career, many casting directors turned him away because they felt his look was too intimidating for mainstream audiences, reducing the range of opportunities available to him. Adding to those challenges, his choice to remain unmarried and without children fueled persistent rumors about his sexuality during the 1980s and 1990s. Rather than confronting those claims publicly, he embraced a more private lifestyle centered on meditation, spirituality, and self-discipline. Today, he is widely recognized as one of Hollywood's most thoughtful and composed creative figures. Taking on the role of Pancho, Richard Chavez portrayed a soldier guided by sharp instincts, weary humor, and the expression of someone who had witnessed far too much violence before entering the jungle. Born on October 9, 1951 in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Chavez was 37 years old during Predator and drew upon his real-life military background as a war veteran. Thanks to his grounded approach, Pancho felt more believable and relatable than many of the larger-than-life action heroes around him. By 2026, Richard Chavez is 75 years old and reportedly enjoys a quiet and highly private life away from mainstream Hollywood. After experiencing long stretches outside the spotlight and fewer acting opportunities, his estimated net worth is believed to be around $800,000.
In contrast to many former action stars, Chavez seldom makes public appearances and has largely stepped away from the entertainment business. Behind that retreat, reports suggest years of emotional hardship and fear dramatically altered the course of his life. While already coping with depression and psychological wounds connected to his military service, he later faced a dangerous stalker in the late 1990s who repeatedly threatened both him and members of his family. According to various reports, the ordeal became so serious that he reduced public appearances, walked away from major acting opportunities, and adopted a more anonymous lifestyle to safeguard loved ones. As a result, the ongoing pressure reportedly placed tremendous strain on both his marriage and personal well-being. In the end, much of his life was spent avoiding dangers that felt alarmingly close and real. That concludes our look at the cast of Predator and Predator 2 nearly 4 decades after their release. Hidden behind the action, explosions, and legendary battles were lives marked by heartbreak, illness, addiction, controversy, and deeply personal struggles few fans ever imagined. Out of all the Predator stars featured today, which story surprised you the most? Before you go, be sure to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications for more fascinating then and now stories celebrating Hollywood legends.